Then he goes on to the third thing, and he says this: I want you to know what God would want you to do. I want you to, secondly, live a life like Jesus, and then that leads to something else. Thirdly, bearing fruit. Verse 10, bearing fruit in every good work. And then it says this, in addition to that, this is an interesting little add-on, growing in the knowledge of God. Isn't that interesting? Most people would say that you have knowledge of God, and that helps you bear fruit. But this is just totally opposite. This is in the backwards kind of way of saying it, in that you can bear fruit, then know God more. In other words, there's an inextricable connection between doing something in life, bearing fruit for God, and that, through that experience, getting to know God more. It's very interesting. You know, when you look at what God does, you think, man, you know what? A lot of people, what they do is they get a Bible and they start reading it, or they have conversations with their buddies, or they start having these kinds of conversations that we looked at in our last series about, you know, who is Jesus and what happened in your life that you can share with people. And so people get exposed to those things. They start coming to church and they start serving. They start asking a lot of questions. And then they cross over that line of faith. And so now the Holy Spirit's living within them. They have new life. They're going to heaven when they die. And the question becomes this: if God did all that for you and he helped you cross that line, and your future is secure in heaven with him when you die, why did he leave you here? Why are you still having a heartbeat? Why do you still breathe? Why are you still having time on Sunday, today, and Monday, and Tuesday? And what is this week about for you? What is your whole life about? What is your whole goal for? What are you living here for? And the fact of the matter is God's not done with us. The reason why he's left us here, the reason why we will have, and on average, 70 or 80 years, is because he wants us to bear fruit. Now, bearing fruit is a very interesting concept. It really means this: producing a life of purposeful, eternal, good works. In other words, last week we talked about these people had eternity on their mind. Do you walk around thinking about eternity? Do you think about things that really matter? Do you think about living for a higher purpose than just, work today, or my kids, or, my girlfriend, or my bank account, or what job I'm going to have? You understand? These people had big things on their minds, and Paul is praying, I pray that you will bear fruit. That is literally, Jesus said it in John 15:16. He says, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and your fruit would remain. In other words, eternal fruit. So bearing fruit here has the context of living a life that would produce relationships that lead to people coming to Jesus and getting saved from their sins. This is fruit of making disciples. This is learning the basics about Christianity myself, learning how to help myself grow, and turning around and spending time on a weekly basis, meeting with people and pouring my life into theirs so that I will make disciples, so that at the end of my life, I look back and I say, this person and that person came to Christ because of me, and he grew and she grew and their family grew, and life took on new significance for me because I'm now living for eternity and I'm now bearing fruit. It's some of us getting off the sidelines and getting into the game. It's some of us coming from the periphery and living life in the center of the church. And you know what? I want to tell you that this whole idea of bearing fruit is huge, because I meet a lot of people that are just kind of wandering through life, and they have no purpose and they have no meaning. And yet, if they would understand that God's role in their lives is to help them have meaning and have purpose, and that meaning and purpose doesn't come from more knowledge acquisition, more money, more stuff, more better job, that it comes from living a life of pouring our lives into other people. Relationships make the world go round.